Alright, well, hello. I am back with, and this is going to be a difficult video to do, but I'm back with another video on some dates. Interesting dates. You can probably hear my paper crunching in the background here. Um, what? This is going to be difficult to do, but bear with me. I think it's worth it. I think it's interesting. Is this another damn prediction day? Maybe. Who the hell knows? But it's for sure a very, very interesting date. And I've mentioned it before. And it's the 10th of August. And I'll tell you why this is an interesting date. Because when we look at this table, this table, you'll have to go back and look at. If you're completely new to this, you'll have to go back and find a video dealing with this. It's in the archive there somewhere. Double Cross of Lorraine. And it'll explain what this table is. But for those of you that have been following along, we're back with these balance numbers again, and I've done a bit more looking at them, and it becomes even more amazing how these certain numbers here interact with certain dates in the calendar year. Okay, and how some of these numbers refer, I think, to certain dates in the calendar year. And we can do some like counting on pretty simple stuff by some of these numbers here, and we can get to other significant dates in the year. With that being said, I might as well just jump straight into it. So I don't know if you can see where I'm going with the August date here. This is the physical side of reality, which would be man, and this is the metaphysical side of reality, the thing that we invent in our head, the spiritual side of the world that we live in. And so the number of man, of course, 6, and if we drop down 3 sixes, the number of the beast as well, which, funnily enough, I mean, where does the beast come from? It's generated inside of our head. We're the people that create that thing, whether you like it or not. That thing is created from within us. But anyway, that's a video for another day, I think. But anyway, you can see where I'm going here with 810, because all we've got to do, we can just use this number right here with a 0, and we've got 810 right here. Okay, if you've followed along in the past, we've got 711, or this would be June the 11th right here, and it would also be September the 11th because of the way the numbers interact. Let me give you a quick example. So this being June the 11th, right? I can go 92 days, right, and that will take me to September the 11th. And you say, well, what's the significance of 92 days? And I say, well, look at this number right here, this 29. Just flip it around, 92 days, and you can go from June the 11th, which is 6/11, to 9/11, right? So it starts getting interesting, right? Because I can go from, let's pick another date. Let's pick this date, which I'm saying is the 10th of August, right? Let's pick that date, and now let's go 23 days from that date. No, don't go 23. Flip it around the other way around, and go 32 days. Sorry, from August the 10th, and it's going to take us back to 9/11, right? Well, this is starting to get interesting. I can go 37 days from this date here, August the 10th, and it takes me to July the 4th. Yeah, the 4th of July, Independence Day, right here, which is reflected on this side of the two columns here as well. So a lot of these numbers that are in this table come out on significant dates in the calendar year. Okay, so let's pick something else. I'm just rattling this. I mean, you can double check all this, and I'm hoping I'm getting most of this right. I've got this written down on a bit of paper, like you can imagine, like a crazy person would, with lines going from different dates with different numbers here, there, and everywhere. Just like a crazy conspiracy type person would have on their side of their wall. I've just got a smaller version of it on a bit of paper. So I've said this before in other videos, that this date here, I believe this is mainly May dates right here, and this is mainly June dates right here. But I say it's mainly June dates, and I'm just talking about August here. But this, so this would be 5 here for May, and then right here we would have the 23rd of May, right? So if we go 37 days, that will take us up to, which would be June the 29th. I don't know if you can follow this, but it's difficult. It's kind of difficult to follow, but if you've got one of these, if you could make one of these charts, and then go to a thing that I use. Let me just show you what I use. This thing here. I use this calculator, EasySurf, and EasySurf has got this add or subtract. I guess it's up here. EasySurf.cc/nDate1.htm. If you can't see that there, but this EasySurf. Anyway, what am I talking about? This thing you can just put your days in, and it'll calculate it out for you pretty nice. This is the one I've been using anyway. It's pretty good. Right, what I want to got my video up there. Let me see. What were we doing here? I was talking about some of these dates. So we can start picking out some really interesting stuff. If I go, this is what's interesting right now. So if I go 108 days from this date here, which would be again the 8-10 day, yeah, the 10th of August, and if I go 108 days back from that point, it takes me to Lazarus Saturday. And what's significant about that, well, I'll tell you what else is significant. If we go back, so I was just talking about this May the 23rd, right? So if I drop back, I take this number here and I drop back, I just reverse it, go back 79 days, right? That takes me from this date back to this date, this is interesting. You know, I go back 79 days from this date, which was 8-10, back to 5-23, right? Okay, you're saying this is okay, Dan. Go on, keep going then. What was I going to say about this now? So this 23 date, this balanced set of numbers here. I'll tell you what's interesting about that. Let's just go have a look at it. Hang on a minute. Let's look at the days of the year here. Let's go to that date. So we've got a 97 day gap between them, and we're going back to May. We're going back to this point here, May 23rd. And so remember these numbers here, 143, which is the total of 55 and 88. Okay. It's a significant number because it's also pi, just rearranged, 314, and it's also the 222. Okay, and this 222, I mean, I don't know what you want to say about the 222. This thing can be arranged into an interesting looking triskelion type thing. It's actually a little bit, if you look at it, it's a bit like this symbol here. I don't know if you can make that out of the bottom of my page. That's my OBS symbol. But those three legs coming together again. with the 222. Yeah, the 222. 6 is the sum, and if you take that and do the cube now, so 2 times 2 is 4, times another 2 is 8. So it's quite a nice reference to 6 and 8 again. But anyway, so where does this number show up? This 143 and 222, what's the counterpart number for that? Let's look at the counterpart number. Oh, come on. This is not a good time for my mouse to start playing up. Let's go to August, and you've probably guessed where I'm going to go. August the 10th. So this is the counterpart number for that balance number in the table of 143, 222, and that's the balance point of the 1423. Again, the 1423. If we go back and look at that, it's got pi right in there again. The 1, 4, and the 3 is right in this date here, which I've called that a 5 and taken us to May for this date. Yeah, so the May Day date. What's interesting is, so that would kind of make that would kind of give us a reference back to the May Day stuff that I was going on about before, you know, with the maypole and the James Bond Mayday link and all that kind of stuff, and also obviously the distress call Mayday. But what's interesting is, so this Lazarus, because of course everybody's been going on about Lazarus, and you know, you got David Bowie, and there's references everywhere. And of course, the Toys R Us reference was a reference to the CEO, the founder of Toys R Us. You know, the Toys R Us is the system. That's why it had to go bye-bye. And so you've got this Charles Lazarus character, and born October the 4th. So we've got a 10-4 or an 8-4 date here, which, again, you might say, well, Dan, what's the reference there? Well, I can go 55 days from the 10th now. Sorry, I'm all over the place with this, but I can go 55 days from this date again, and that takes me up to October the 4th, or 8-4. I don't know if anybody watches Jurassic Liars, but the 8-4 date, the 4th of August, is a super interesting date in its own right, and that's no doubt the reason why that Beirut bomb happened on that day, because if you go from Pi Day, which is 314, 14th of March, which is Mother's Day as well in England, you go 143 days. So again, another set of pi numbers here, this total number, and that will take you up to August the 4th. Yeah, and it's got some other connections to other dates, you know. Again, we can go 73 days back, which is the reverse of this, from that date, and it takes us back to this date, the 5th of the 23rd of May again. Okay, so I mean, I don't know if you're seeing how these numbers and these days when significant events happen, there seems to be some interesting coincidences with the numbers in this table. And again, I did that one on the on July the 21st, and those numbers that surround that date and the 22nd, and you know, I didn't go into it in that video, but that's all to do with the moon, being in the moon again, being in the fiction, man on the moon in the fiction, reaching, you know, up into the stars, to the highest point of the fiction, if you like, or the deepest realm of the fiction. You know, I mean, it's all symbolic. But anyway, back to the 10th. So I mean, if you listen to Jurassic Liars, he was going on about Trump getting his head wound or something happening to Trump around about August the 4th. Well, you know, I mean, it's like, do we think that something would happen again on 9/11? Wow, there's a good. I mean, it's a possibility, isn't it? That would might waken up people. I don't know, but so it's like, would we have another big event on August the 4th, seeing as we had that huge explosion in Beirut? I don't know. You know, I mean, the double use of certain dates, I don't see it. But this 10th of August, if I'm going along those lines, has already been used for the, well, it's kind of been used, and it's the Arecibo. It's the first sort of bit of damage that happens to the Arecibo. It's the first in the three-part series, which is the Arecibo observatory collapse. And what's interesting about that collapse is there's a set of numbers that are worked into it. So if we go, there's the first little bit of damage when a cable breaks, and then I'm not quite sure what happens on the set. Another cable breaks, I think. I'm not sure. And then finally, they say that they're going to demolish it, and then right when they've said they're going to demolish it, the thing just falls down anyway, supposedly. What's interesting about that, it gives us three sets of numbers, and it gives us an 88 days between the first cable and the second cable, and so if we take, which is this date, 8/10, right? So if we go from the 10th of August, 88 days, it takes us to November the 6th, yeah? So 11/6, right? Which again is a reference back to 9/11 and 6/11, and you know, this is all the same set of numbers, the triple-legged event, yeah? It's almost it's almost the same with the Hoover Dam, with Lake Mead, yeah, those triple legs of Lake Mead. That flux capacitor idea again. It's all the you know, I mean, you can't. It's almost like we're reliving the same event again, just a little bit, just changed up a little bit. Anyway, we also get another number, and we go from November the 6th now, and we go 25 days. It takes us up to the 1st of December. I think it takes us to the 1st of December, if I'm remembering correctly. And that gives us a 25 reference, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, let's do a 25 reference from this. But let's switch it up a bit, and let's do, what did I do? Trying to think now. And bear with me. I've got it written down. Written down in front of me. Okay, yeah. So if we take the 25 reference and we go, instead of 25, let's revert. So a lot of these things are reversed. So I'll just do the reverse of it, is what I thought. So I go 52 days. 52 days from this point takes me up to, you won't believe this, the 1st of October. And of course, the 1st of October was the Las Vegas shooting event, right? The Harvest Festival. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I was just saying about the August the 4th, reflecting back to the 4th of October, because of course October's named as the 8th month, but it's the 10th month as we see it now. So that date of the 1st of October is super interesting, because it happens to be 3 to 4 days before, depending on how you count your days, before the birth of Charles Lazarus, which is October the 4th. And October the 4th happens to, if you go and look at my dollar bill fold, you can get the 4th of October off the green side of the dollar bill quite easily. You can get that 8 from the two seals if you just fold the middle out of the note, and then you've got the 4 ones surrounding it. So it's super interesting because also we've got the 4 inlet towers at the Hoover Dam, right? And we've also got 8/4, or October the 4th, sorry, is referenced in Back to the Future. It's the time at which the clock tower stops, right? When it gets struck by lightning. It's the 4 minutes past 10. So what I don't like about that date is that the October the 4th now seems kind of very obvious, because it's right there in Back to the Future. Mind you, there's some obvious stuff in Back to the Future. If you've ever looked into 9/11, there is a lot of obvious stuff in Back to the Future. So the question begs the question is whether it could be that obvious. And the other obvious thing is, of course, the reference to Charles Lazarus and Toys R Us, and that birthday of his, the 4th of October, right there. What's interesting about that 4th of October is if we're going to count like in the Bible, they count the day of the death, to the resurrection for Lazarus. I believe we're counting the day of, and so we got 4 days, yeah. So we'd have the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. That would be your 4 days for the rebirth of Lazarus, yeah. And of course, Lazarus being actually born on October the 4th. Is it too obvious? I don't know. Or is it now a reference back? Again, it's interesting, isn't it? And of course, if we go 108 days back from the 10th, we actually get to the church holiday, Lazarus Saturday. So you see how these numbers are super connected. And of course, my belief is that the speaker in Back to the Future, right at the start there, is a direct reference to the Arecibo collapse. And so, there's also a reference right at the start of that. I don't know if you've seen the start of Back to the Future. Most people have. But Marty blows up that speaker, the amp, basically. And that's what the Arecibo is, an amplifier. It amplifies signals from outer space, if you believe that version of the narrative. But what happens is he blows up that amp, right? And then Doc's calling on the phone, and Doc says, "Oh yeah, my experiment worked. All my clocks are 25 minutes late." Now, really? We've got the 88 of the Arecibo, and then we've got the 25. So we've got the reference to 8:25 in the morning, 8 o'clock, but it's actually 8:25, yeah? Do you follow what I'm saying with this? That Doc's got that prediction, or the prediction for the Arecibo is right at the start of Back to the Future there. In fact, I should probably do just a separate video on that, and point that out to people. But that gives us that little code there of the 25, and of course I decided to turn it around the other way, 52. And that takes us to, what did I say it takes us to? Gee, lovely. It takes us to the 1st of October, which would be of course, that would be the harvest date, which would be the death date, yeah? And then the rebirth date would be the 4th of October. Okay? So that's obviously another damn date, the 4th of October. But it references right back to this point, Anyway, what else do I want to say about it? I don't know. Because the Arecibo starts on this day, I don't know whether anything significant would happen. But I'm going to tell you one other interesting thing. Okay, click down off of here. Let's go to this thing a minute. If we go back to Lazarus, let's just go back to Lazarus. I'll show you what date it is. Okay, where is it, Dan? Okay, here's Lazarus Saturday right here. It's the 114, yeah? The CRM 114. The CRM that shows up in Stanley Kubrick films. It shows up in Back to the Future on the amp, right? Here's your 114, your CMR. What did I CRM. Complete Rebirth of Man. Here's your 114. Complete Rebirth of Man. I love it. But this 114, so this Complete Rebirth of Man, okay. Look how many days we are between that and this is the counterpart to 9/11 now. We're 4 days, right, between those two dates, which is interesting. Super interesting yet again. This year it's on the 24th, and that just happens to coincide with the 4 days before. This would be the twin date for 9/11, yeah? So, or the counterpart date, should I say, for the year. So that's interesting as well. What else is interesting? What have I missed off of here? The 79. I've had some other. Hang on a minute. Oh, I have to go back through and look at some of the stuff on the piece of paper here. Obviously, if we go from August the 10th now, let's go back to this little. Well, if we go from August the 10th here, and we go 60 days, right here, if we take the 60 days, it takes us back to June the 11th. Yeah, the 60 days takes us back to June the 11th. That's interesting, I don't know what else I wanted to say really. Oh, if we go, well, this is just some random stuff now. If we go from June the 11th again and we go 111 days, we were just talking about the 9/11 days of the year is 111. So if we go 111, which is a reference to the 3 legs again, it takes. Sorry, don't go 111. Go 143 from that date. Yeah, that takes us to November the 1st, 111. Yeah, that takes us to 111. So I don't know. It just starts looking a bit. It's just interesting, Let me just throw a couple of other interesting things in here. If we take this, so we've gone 18 days from June the 11th, yeah, which of course would equal June the 29th, right? That's how these numbers work, because they sum and make the next number, right? But if we go, anyway, what I'm trying to say is if we go from this 29th date now, the 29th of June, which interestingly enough, I actually come across that tab that I don't think I mentioned before. Let me just go to it. Again, with the Lazarus thing, what was it? Yeah, it was this. It was what day did Toys R Us announce that they were closing? And it was the last day that you could shop at the store was the 29th of June. Interesting choice, This is a reference. I'm sure this is a reference to the system going out of business, basically. The man-made fictional system is going to be no more. This is the the end, so to speak. anyway, getting sidetracked. But I just wanted to show you that 29th date. There are some interesting things occurring on it. But if we go from that 29th date and we go 74 days, so we're going to change this around again to a 74, where do we end up? We end up back at 9/11. We go up September the 11th, yeah? I mean, you can't, I say you can't write this stuff. I mean, it's just super interesting, you know? Absolutely super interesting. If we go from this May the 23rd again, and we go, let's do 32 days this time. Let's reverse this 23 and let's go 32 days from this date. Where do we end up? We end up at the 24th of June at the Champlain towers collapse. Yeah, and you know just another 9/11 building. You know, another reference back to 9/11. What's interesting in that Champlain thing was it was the 777, yeah, the 8777 was the address, and so 87. So if I go back from this day, which is the 10th of August again, let me bring up my deal here. So let's go back from that date now, and let's have a look at 87. We're going to find that 87 happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4 days before. Again, I'm counting the day of when we do. That's just the way that they seem to do it in the Bible, yeah. Like, so when Jesus dies and is resurrected, what we've got is we've got the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, and they count that as 3 days. Whereas what we do in a lot of this stuff is we're just counting on. And we're not including the day of for the most part, unless we're dealing with, I guess, like a resurrection count. Anyway, it's interesting, isn't it? This 87, which happens to be 4 days before. I'm on May. What the hell am I on? Dan, come on. Not paying attention now. August. It's the same for August though. The 7th is 4 days still before the 10th, no matter what month you're in. But anyway, but you see where we're at. What's interesting about this date here is these numbers. I don't know if you know this, but the 4th of August is the 216, and if you do your 6 cubed, that's what your answer is going to be, 216. And it's just interesting that the 7th just happens to be 219, which essentially is the same set of numbers in numerology, basically. Again, very interesting, because 87, if you turn an 8 on its side, right? What have I got on here? Let's just do it. When we do the 87, let's see if we can get this brush to bloody work here. Hang on. I like to this. I can never seem to get a. Oh, that's size here, isn't it? I can't remember what I do. Try that. Here we go. You can just about see that. But anyway, if we do an 8, there's your 8, and there's your 7, right? 87's it's super interesting, because if we flip some stuff around, right, let's flip the 7 round, right, and then let's take this 8, and we've got this, right, the thing that's been referenced a hell of a lot. And I'll tell you something interesting. I don't have a picture of it up, actually. Bugger. I haven't even got to the interesting stuff yet. Hang on. But if you look at, here's a little tidbit. If you look at the dollar bill, right, and you look at the picture of Washington, and then I might have mentioned this before, but the portrait of Washington appears to be inside a loo seat. I shit you not. excuse my French and excuse the pun there, but yeah, the picture of Washington appears to be inside a Lucy, and that Lucy actually shows up at the end of oh, what am I trying to say? Space Odyssey 2001. When Dave finally makes it to wherever he makes it to through the, the rainbow pattern, whatever, well, wormhole or whatever he goes through, and he ends up in that kind of dream-like state. There's a point at which they're either looking through the window of the little pod that he's traveled in, and it just looks like a Lucy again. It's just interesting. Anyway, so we've got this reference to the loo, right? Which is also a reference, which is also this as well, which we need to, doing it wrong. Hang on a minute. Here we go. Oh well, you get the idea. 007, the loo. 87. All you've got to do is turn this 8 on its side, and it's a 00. 007. Yeah. And so the big, the big thing here is GoldenEye. Yeah. This is where we're trying to get to. The GoldenEye. Yeah. We're trying to have a GoldenEye. The GoldenEye is the sun, literally in the sky. That is the GoldenEye, right? The GoldenEye, the film, that's the film where he jumps off of I can't remember the name of the dam. It's somewhere up in Switzerland, I think. But he jumps off that dam, a very symbolic, I don't know, scene. And that's kind of like, I mean, you could look at that a million different ways. Taking the leap of faith, when he goes, he's also upside down like Peter. I mean, there's so many different things there. He's also doing the cross, and he's also doing the X as well. So I mean, there's a bunch of different little bits of symbolism there, and I don't know, going over the edge. I don't know what else to say about that, but anyway, it's super interesting. But the fact is that he does that scene, and also in the film is they have the Arecibo scene as well, where basically they have the showdown between him and I think it's Yanis actually, yeah, that Sean Bean's playing, and they have that showdown at the Arecibo, and that's where Yanis dies. So it's just super interesting that that's all in there. Let me show you something else super interesting before I forget again. Alright, so what we got here? This is the $1 bill. This is a fold. Let me put it around the right way a minute. So you can join this $1 bill up. Actually, this one's, I've got a better picture of it joined up, but it's not as, well, I say it's a better picture. It's just, you can line this up really, really well. I'll tell you what's significant about this lineup as well, which I never mentioned before. Is okay, there's a bit of a mess going on here. But this edge lines up really well. This edge lines up really well here. This pattern here lines up it lines up perfectly, and so does this line, even though it doesn't look quite perfect. On my picture here, it's just I was having difficulty holding it and trying to take a picture at the same time on the computer. I guarantee it, if you get a nice crisp $1 bill and fold it right along this line here, you will get everything matching up perfectly. These lines match up perfectly. You can get them absolutely spot on, which, you're not fudging stuff, which is, I think that's I mean, that's interesting. And I'll tell you what else is interesting. Remember old, what's his name? Moloch, the owl, the Illuminati owl right here. Oh dear. He's right on this seam. He's just right here. He's on the side of the shield, the dam, and this is also the dam. I tell you, this is super interesting. There's a couple of other little things in here I'll talk about right now, but you can see where I'm going with this, can't you? Let's flip this around. I don't know if I've done this before, but here's your 8, right? Doesn't matter which way around we look at that. There's your 8, and again, here's your 10. Yeah, I think I was talking about this with June before, June the 10th, because this does appear to have a hook on it. Could also be if you flip it up the other way. Don't get that one down. We are. Just inverse it. We've got a nice little 911 there as well. But let's just look at this a minute. Hang on a minute. Let's look at this bottom, this 8, right? And this wave's coming across here, and there's still something about this, but I don't really know what it is. But anyway, this is a complete cycle here. So this is probably, we could say this is an O. Right, now let's look at this one here. And this comes down, it's a bit like a horseshoe, but it comes up at the bottom here, right? Like a V, right? So we've got an O and we've got a V right here, right? And then if we flip this around, we've got, this was the 10, which is a 1 right here. So we've got an OV1, and then what have we got here but a D? So we've got Ovid right there. And I'll tell you what also is interesting. Let me flip this back around. I don't have a picture of it right now, but you can imagine what you can do is fold this tighter right here, and this will join onto this right here. And what you end up with is basically a capital D. So what you end up with is Dovid or Dovid, which is of course David. And what's also interesting, I don't know if I just read too much into this stuff, but what's also interesting is that this portion, I really need to have a picture of it. And in fact, if I was to show you, I don't even think I can do the little drawing over the top. But this part here remains, right? And then you take this part here and you join it over here. So you fold this bit out, this part here with Moloch on it. You fold that bit out and you get this right here. Okay, and when you look at it, it looks like a capital D, right? When these two are joined up. But what you also have is a C here, and then you just have the other part of the D here. Which, I mean, it is pretty interesting that the whole thing going on now, COVID or David, yeah, David, the return of David from the Odyssey. It's maybe I read too much into this stuff, but I mean, if it was completely obvious, then it would be, I guess it'd be even more crazy. But anyway, maybe reaching a bit too much there, but that's, to me, you can definitely pull an O, you can definitely pull a V here, you can definitely pull an I, and you can definitely pull a D. And this is what it's about. It's about ID, yeah. that's what they say the elites want, is they want to create an ID thing, right? But this is about personal identity, yeah. This is about, who are you? That's the question that everybody has to ask. Who am I? Am I, and what is my identity in this world? What am I going to be? Am I going to be a pawn of the matrix, or am I going to be an independent man? I mean, that's what it's coming down to, is being independent. ID, independent. I don't know. Anyway, of course, also here you've got the Twin Towers. I've mentioned this before, and you've kind of got a, you know, wow, what's going on with the laurel leaves here? But you know, anyway, oh, and interestingly, yeah, that's, you know, one hits there and one hits there. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I shouldn't be laughing about it, but whatever. I don't know what else I wanted to mention. Bit of a long video, I'm sorry. Hopefully I've covered everything in there. I know I'm probably missing something. I don't even know if I've said everything about this. There are a few other places. I watched a debunk video on this Moloch character, and the guy showed what appears to be this part of the pattern of the spider's web, yeah, and it appears to show up here, yeah, and there's a couple of other places along the bottom of the dollar bill where it shows up. And what is interesting is if you fold at those 2 points, you kind of get that the Vesica Pisces on the reverse side that I've shown before in my other folds, but it kind of occurs at those 2 points of what would be Moloch again. I just thought that was interesting. I haven't tried doing anything here between these 2 points, but anyway, that's interesting again. If you look at if you do that, if you fold it where you'll actually be able to see it on a $1 bill. It's not right here, it's a bit further along, but it's a dark spot, almost like an A or a delta. You know what we're dealing with right now, the delta. The delta is the dam. The delta is the, you know. Oh, and that was the other thing, yeah. If you do fold that at those 2 points, right? So it just looks like that at the bottom, but it's running along the bottom. So if you fold at that point, you'll still have this on this side, but what actually happens in the middle here is you get a symbol produced, and it looks like a Greek alphabet letter. What is it? It's lambda. Okay, lambda, and it looks like a it looks basically like a kind of an A without the cross on it. Or, boy, I really should have. Let me just show you. Let me just draw a picture of it, because I can't be doing. This is what it looks like at the. This is the figure that you come up with. Oh, that's not. It was a little bit better than that, Dan. Come on. Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, that's a video for another day, because I haven't really looked into that. But anyway, you end up with this figure. It does look like a Greek alphabet letter, lambda. So I just thought it was interesting that it was the lamb. It's also the letter I, and it's it's just, you know, I don't know what, you know, is it a reference to the I, the A of Adam, the Lamb of God? You know, I mean, who the hell knows? I'll have to look into that for another video. But anyway, I think I've just about covered everything. I think that's it. Oh dear, oh dear. Also, if you go from the 10th of August, one other thing I've just spotted. If you go 77 days, so we do A New Hope, the year that New Hope came out, or Elvis died, you get to the 26th of October, and that is the date that Marty does his first bit of time traveling. So that is super interesting as well. I'm just looking over my notes to see if there's anything else I've missed something important off of here. We can do 157 both ways. I said that 157 in that chart, we can go 157 from this date again, both ways. This is the half of pi, right? And we go to Jan the 14th, which is 114 again, and the CRM 114. And we can go back the other way and we get to March the 6th. So we get back to the 3-6, and 3-6, again, another super interesting reference number, 360 degrees, a full cycle. The 36 years that of age when Diana died, and I believe, actually, I don't know how old she'd been this year. I'd have to look that up. I can't remember if she's 60 or 63 this year. But anyway, I think Madonna might be 63 this year. Just interesting. Don't quote me on those. No, I don't know. I can't remember. I've just got so many numbers going through my head. It starts getting a bit crazy, if you know what I mean. Any other dates that I've missed? I think that's it, guys. Hopefully there was something interesting there. Hopefully you could follow along with some of that craziness. But yeah, 87, which would be 007. I don't know. I don't know. To me, I mean, I'm gonna have to do some more stuff on October dates as well, because there's a load of interesting dates there, and also Labor Day this year. It happens to, if you go from June the 29th again, and you do 69 days, yeah, which is the day of Labor Day, September the 6th, which is 9-6. If you go 69 days from this date, it takes you to Labor Day, yeah. So again, just another interesting little reference there. I don't know how super interesting that is, but it is interesting, the idea of man being reborn again, going into labor, the mother going into labor and birthing man. Gosh, did I mention that 23 days from September the 11th would take you up to October the 4th, which again, that's interesting. Trying to think, October the 4th happens to be 97 days from June the 29th. And I think I'll just have to leave it there, because otherwise we'll be all night. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. What have I got written down here? Hang on a minute. Oh, just some simple stuff again with the numbers. The whole idea of the dollar bill, right? There's your dollar, and the numbers encoded into, we got an 18 or a 118 right there for the dollar sign. Put your 1 there. You've got this 111 with the 8 again. The S becomes the 8. What else to say? I'm just trying to see if I've got anything else written down here. I apologize that I'm not, completely. Oh, was that interesting? No, but I did have some interest. I don't have them in front of me actually, and I did do some interesting stuff with some like dividing of numbers, and it was to do with 810, and I can't remember what it was. 810. Well, of course, 810 divided by 18 equals 45, and then 810 clear. I don't know if I wrote that in right actually. 810 divided by 11. What was that? 73.63. 63, the 63 again. And the 73, which is the L number, the 37, which is again in that table. Well, I came across something that was much more interesting than that. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I can't really recap over that because there's so much garbage in there. But this, I'll tell you what the other thing of this is. This is 180, yeah. This is the flip round, yeah. When you do 180, you flip reality, So if we're flipping reality, yeah, we're doing a 180 right now, yeah. We're flipping, like alternating current, yeah, AC. We are flipping to the opposite side of the spectrum now, right? So we're doing a 180, which is interesting because, of course, the 180 again is we're referencing back to the triangles again, 180 degrees, and going back 108 back to Lazarus Saturday, and this is 810. So those digits are all there. Anyway, I gotta leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed that. Oh yeah, also 87. There's a reference there as well. But, with the 7-11, I've gone through this before. That the 7 is basically could be changed for a 1. Yeah, if you use it in terms of an L, little L or big L, it's a 1 or a 7, depending which way you look at it, right? And so, like the 777 event, the triple, this thing again, if you put 3 7s together, you get that, the Triskelion thing again, yeah? Like the Isle of Man logo, yeah, the 3 legs. And that is the same as, the 3 columns. It's essentially the same thing, the 3 legs, the 3 columns. So, 7-11, 1-1-1. Again, we've got this 1-1-1 here, which is, super interesting that we can go. What did I say we could go? Did I do 111 days from that date? I can't remember where it went to. Do I even have it down here? I thought I did. Bugger. I don't appear to have that on there. That might go. I can't remember if that went to somewhere significant or not. Hang on. Bear with me 1 second. But what I was saying is that 3 7, is essentially a 3-1, the year that the dam was built, or the unlucky number 13. Hang on a minute. What am I going to? Let's just put that in a minute. I'm close. August the 6th. Let's put the 10th in. And let's do. I can't remember what it was. Was it interesting? Oh, the 29th of November. Actually, I think that might be. I don't know if that's this year though. I can't remember. That's not this year. I don't think that's Black Friday. I could have sworn I had a. Oh yeah, the 21st. I did say that, didn't I? The 21st of April. Well, what we've done. The 21st of April is the 21st of April. When we go back 111 days is. Let me just reconfirm that. Is the 9/11. There's the 21st down here. It's the 9/11 date. So that was interesting as well. I don't know why I don't have that written down on my thing. But that's super interesting that we go back to that date. So anyway, I think we've done everything now. Please tell me that's please tell me that is the end of the video, Dan, because this is just lagging on now, mate. This is bad. Gosh, that is it. Let's just call that the end. All right, cheers. Thanks for watching. It'll be interesting to see if we have any references pop up or whether anything interesting happens. But so like with Jurassic Liars, you know, with the old head wound of Trump, I would have said 8-7. If we were determined that August the 10th was going to be the rebirth day, then 8-7 would make more logical sense for you know, for that thing to happen to Donald Trump or whatever was going to happen. You know, the gut shot. He calls it the head wound, but boy, I'd call it the gut shot. That's what happens in Back to the Future. Obviously, it won't be the same thing. Probably not. I don't know. What the hell am I talking about even? All right. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. All right. Bye.